I know something's about to go down.
All the people look at me like I'm a little girl. Wouldn't you ever think it'd be okay for me to step into this world? Always saying, little girl, don't step into the club. I'm just trying to find out, 'cause dance is what I love, yeah. Get it, get it, get it, get it, get it. But oops, I did it again to your heart, got lost. And this game won't be fair. Oops, to you think that I'm sent from above.
Oh my goodness.
She must have died when that came out.
This is why, Bridget, they mime on Top of the Pops.
God, they're all terrible, aren't they?
Doesn't it make sense now, though? That's the shit that we would hear if we heard.
Yeah.
Isn't it mad that she, and no discredit to Britney Spears, she's an incredibly beautiful and talented woman, and she's had enough shit in her life. But ain't it mad she's famous for being a singer?
For that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know I could do a better job. I think you could.
Definitely could. I don't know about me. I think I'd be on par. I wouldn't look as good, but I'd be on par.
I didn't even know that they would record the microphone that she's lip syncing to.
What they do is you have like the vocal track that's been recorded in the studio, and then they'll put a live mic on her
For the
very
bits.
low, so that when she goes like, come on,
Right.
then they can, so people think like, oh, she's singing it all live, but they
Yeah.
say to her like, Britney, just do the best you can. But don't worry, because we've got a vocal track that's much higher over the top, so you're going to be fine.
I bet she was absolutely humiliated when that was leaked.
I don't think so.
How
I
was it
think
leaked? Because that TikTok, for anyone that was listening, the captions were like, remember that time back in 2002 or whatever it was.
Oh, was it that long ago?
That was leaked. Her mic feed was leaked. So imagine waking up,
No.
you know, she's in the middle of a tour, and then that is all over the internet. I suppose if it was released when was it released? Yeah.
I don't know.
It's
That
not
could have
important.
been the moment that made her chop that old hair off. Do you remember that?
Yeah, it was wild.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wild moment in our pop culture history that Britney Spears shaved her head.
I remember.
But also, sorry, go on.
No, you carry on.
I'm just saying, isn't it awful though that she shaved her head, put and was, papped by
yeah, and then she had vagina shots. Do you not remember that?
coming out of the car.
But like they did it like 8 times.
I know,
Everyone was
I
just
know.
like, Britney, put a pair of fucking pants on.
just put a pair of pants on.
Because they're going to go for the vag.
Right. She should have learnt the first time.
Yeah. Not that it's appropriate at all. I just
Right.
want to put that out there. Never take a picture of a vagina without consent.
Yeah, I feel like that was borderline. Like, just wear more appropriate clothing and you won't be raped.
No, it was more like she was going out, being destructive with Lohan, wasn't she? They were drugs, drinking, rock and rolling.
yeah, and she
absolutely fine.
Yeah.
But would get her papped.
Yeah.
And then and it happens so often. She'd be like, "It's not fair." It's like, yeah, it's totally not fair.
I don't
But
think
you could just put a pair of pants on and it'd be less embarrassing.
No,
for
well,
you.
I'm on the side of you should wear whatever the hell you want to. If you want your pap out and you don't want to get papped,
So you're telling me,
Yeah.
right? You're telling me, Bridget, right? I'm a big fat paparazzi man, right? And you're getting out of a cab, and you've decided today is the day I shall not wear pants.
Yeah.
And I go, all right, Bridget, as a smile. Oh, weird smile, but thanks anyway. And then the next day it's on the Sun.
not as many teeth.
Your vagina is on the front cover of the Sun, right? And you're going out the next day. You'd put a pair of pants on just in case. Wouldn't you? You'd probably wear a pair of jeans just in case.
What underneath whatever.
yeah,
Do you remember we
dress
did?
with
Do you
jeans.
remember when girls used to do that? You might not remember, but there was
I
a time where we
don't.
would wear jeans and a dress. like some little Christian girls.
I think that was just you, wasn't it?
No.
with a little lock around your little chassis around your thingy, so no one could get in.
No, the girls know, don't they? The girls know what I'm talking about.
Would you ever put a chastity belt on your daughter?
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
If she was a proper hoe?
What? What is a chastity belt?
I think a chastity belt is a device that that locks out any unwanted visitors into your nether regions.
Is it?
Well, no, I think a chastity belt is like I think it's also used to as like a discipline tool, self-discipline tool for people that are religious that don't want to have sex before marriage or whatever. So they'll wear a chastity belt, which stops them getting quick access to the dick.
What is it? Can
Or the
we
badge.
can we Google it? I want to see what it looks like. How does it functionally work?
I wondered when we get onto chastity belts on this pod.
I know. Gosh, I didn't think we'd get to chastity belts. I didn't really think that chastity belts and the Britney Spears feed
Would
leak would kind of like be linked at all.
No, but you know these things work in mysterious ways.
You never know.
Okay. So chastity belts, what we got going on? Chastity belts.
Everything you've heard about chastity belts is a lie.
Should we just go for the top?
Let's just go for it.
What was the chastity belt? You can picture it. You've seen it in many movies and heard references to it across countless cultural forms, Bridget.
No, I can't. I can't
you want to see a
imagine
picture
what
of
it
one
is. Yeah,
first?
that's what I wanted. I wanted to see what it was.
Okay.
I just heard armored knickers.
There you go.
Oh, it really is like a arm.
I mean, that's a kinky one, but yeah. So,
that one literally had like anal beads attached to
yeah,
it.
it's like, oh yeah, you can't have access to your dick, but you can have anal beads up your ass. You can't have sex before marriage, but
They
absolutely
were just
shove it up.
kinky people, these medieval times, weren't they? Oh my gosh.
No,
right.
I think it's more for
for men.
look, it's more to keep them out.
Oh my
It's
gosh,
more
yeah.
no sex before
look,
marriage.
Yeah, look at this picture of an illustration.
Oh my god, so real. Yeah, it's more to keep
Wow.
people out. I mean, there's anal beads there again. I mean, I'm trying to find a legitimate chastity belt, not filth.
No, yeah, I feel like you're clicking on all of them.
Yeah, you're happy with what you see?
Yeah, I'm happy with that. Will be pretty wild for me to come home and be like, Alfie, this is me now. Okay?
Hands off the goods.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then it's such a ball ache, literally. Going to like the toilet and stuff.
Oh, I know. Yeah, the little,
And if you
little
forget
key.
your key, I forget my pass to work all the time. So I'm definitely forgetting the pass to my ass.
Your ass pass.
Yeah. Pass the ass, baby.
That would be a quite nice. Yeah, it'd be quite nice though. I think that moment that you get into the bathroom and you get your key out and you have a little moment of just reconciling with your faith. I think it's really important. I think it's disgusting.
Yeah.
Also, wouldn't it get a bit like ooey down there?
Ooey and gooey, I think. Ooey, gooey and pooey, I reckon, a chastity belt
Yeah,
is.
they can't be comfortable.
No.
I've been finding recently that jeans are really uncomfortable to sit in all day when I'm at work.
The modern day chastity belt, some may say.
I get the high-waisted jean. Very restrictive.
Because you have a pair of anal beads in yours, don't you?
yeah, just a little one.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what the
Just to pass the time.
yeah, that's what Levi's are now expertise in. Just putting little anal beads in the back pocket.
Yeah.
Anyway, Britney Spears.
Oh, we're moving on.
Well, I think
Or
we should
moving
go
back.
back. I think we
Yeah,
should just go
slide back.
to her.
Let's put the chastity belt lock on chastity belts and slide back over to Britney and
Yeah.
take those chastity belts off her.
Sorry, just to quickly unlock that key and put it back again.
Yeah.
Did guys have a version of a chastity belt?
I think they probably did, but I think it was more, the patriarchy.
Well, they probably didn't, though, did they?
Locking them
Because it was they wanted to keep women pure. That was why they didn't want.
Oh yeah.
And for men, it was like do what you need to do, lads.
Yeah, so they'd be
Needs
they'd
must.
be fucking hookers or unsavoury women of the night, probably, whilst their precious little young teenage future wives were locked away.
Locked away by metal pants. But guys, in like Tudor times, they literally had they were on a show, weren't they? With them it's like a little pouch that was like full on bulge, just a bulge on the front of their pants. You know, in Shrek.
Do you mean like the leggings they wore?
Yeah, but they had like a little pouch, didn't they? That was like a big pouch.
Only Shrek had a big bulge though. Normal Tudor men just had a regular size bulge.
What about those ogre Tudors?
King Henry VIII?
The biggest pouches of all.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. Shrek. No, Britney Spears.
Yeah.
So she shaved her head.
Yeah, she shaved it good.
And we all I remember us all seeing it and going, wow, she's crazy. Ha, 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 ha. What a horrible thing.
Yeah, I remember.
Like, for us all to do that.
This sort of journalism still goes on, doesn't it? Where you're kind of laughing in the face of misfortune and misery and mental illness, especially in the sun and shit like that. But yeah, I remember back then it was kind of not frowned upon as much. Like everyone would get involved in it and be like, ha, look how crazy she is.
Yeah.
She's had a vag on the papers. She's shaving her head. She's having a breakdown.
Yeah. Let's celebrate the fact she's having a breakdown.
Yeah. Do you think I'm getting into sexist territory here?
Okay. You always do. I feel like we
Sexism
should have a
alert.
sexist segment, you know, and it's like sexism, and then that just
With me like da-da-da.
yeah, and that just goes into space, like into by your face.
Cis man talk sexism.
Literally, yeah. We have a little air of that every week. It's quite fascinating that this comes out the podcast, actually, Alf.
Yeah, but like you know me. I say it because I find it interesting.
Right.
So the question I'm going to ask you isn't me being sexist.
Gotcha.
It's me asking, do you think? So then it puts the sexism on you, not me.
Right. Okay.
Do you think
That's what you think.
that that Britney Spears, right? Gorgeous in her prime.
She was the girl next door.
Oh,
Yeah.
Every boy's dream. Every little boy's dream as well.
Oops, I jizzed in my pants again.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's what The Lonely Island wrote Jizzed in My Pants about.
Britney Spears.
We're seeing Britney Spears.
Yeah. Quite the icon.
Yeah, absolutely right.
That little belly.
Little belly, little schoolgirl
her,
outfit thing.
I loved how she rocked that like tubby little belly. You know, that belly that was just like the skin. It was like there was a bit of skin there. It's not as abs are more they're different these days. Yeah, women's abs are different. But Britney actually like embraced her little tum. She had a really lovely tum, and all the girls know what I'm talking about. She had
a nice little tum.
Gorgeous tum, yeah.
This was before.
I love that tum, those low jeans.
She was really skinny though.
Oh,
as
she
well.
was, yeah. I'm not saying she was at all chubby.
It was a little bit of a
but
toned
it was like,
tum.
it was no, it wasn't. It's that she was obviously, in amazing shape, but like her belly was so famous. Do you remember her belly was just really famous? There's something about the aesthetic of her belly that now isn't deemed acceptable. I think it seemed as, with Kim Kardashians and stuff, there's a different type of tonality about a belly now.
You don't see many bellies these days.
You don't see a lot.
You see ass and boobs. Not many bellies. Everyone's always turning away on their photos and Instagram.
Yeah, because
it's always the ass.
is a thing, aren't they now?
Yeah. But bring back the belly, I say.
Should I get mine out?
Get your belly out.
Should I get it out right now?
Come on, get your belly out.
Imagine. Nobody wants to see that.
What I was going to say was she was beautiful. She was gorgeous. She was sexy. All right. We all loved it and all wanted a piece.
Absolutely.
Right. Loathed by women? Hold on before you say anything.
Okay.
When she had a breakdown, do you think? Because men, we're foul anyway, so we're gonna laugh in the face of illness any day. But do you think? Because I remember a lot of women jumping on the bandwagon when she had a breakdown. Of like, yeah, she's crazy,
right?
She's fucking crazy. Do you think?
It's a really good point, Alfie. Yeah, I think a lot of women.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, revel in, depending on their own insecurities, do tend to revel in the failings of successful women. Yeah. And it's a real problem in our community because we're supposed to be lifting each other up, not dragging each other down.
Yeah.
But what I would say to that is that in itself is also the patriarchy on women.
100%,
So it's
100%.
why is it that women are insecure in the first place, that they feel they need to bring down other women? Is it
Amen.
because they're being brought up by everyone else in the world? No, they're also being brought down by their probably men in their lives,
Definitely.
other women in their lives. You know, it's all like this vicious cycle, isn't it?
Mm.
It's hard not to. How do you feel about people's success? If you were being really honest, when you see somebody that you think that that you see doing well, doing their judo well,
Yes, I see you do your judo well.
do you think you're an envious person? Do you think there's how much of that speaks to you?
What do I think about success? I think the grudgeman comes out a little bit.
Okay.
I think my initial reaction when I see people, are we talking about people we know, like friends?
It could
and
be
stuff?
people
Or like
we know, or
acquaintances,
probably people we know.
right. Because if I see like a famous person becoming more successful, I don't really care.
Yeah.
When it comes to people, I think it depends. I think my initial reaction is probably like, I think what'll happen is I'll go, yeah, but there must be some other reason as to why they've been successful.
Right.
They've probably had a handout, or they've probably done this. And I'll catch myself doing that, and I'll immediately go, no, just be happy for him.
Right.
And I find that is the easiest way.
Yeah.
After I've punched a hole in the wall, I find that just being happy for other people feels really good.
It's hard to do though in this day and age, being really
Definitely.
authentically happy for people.
Because we're in competition with everyone constantly. We are constantly in competition with everyone.
Yeah.
You know.
It's a difficult skill to master, that one we all must try and do.
Yeah.
Isn't it? Because ultimately it just judgment. What
Who's
was
the
that
judgment?
quote? Maybe that's another bit of you. The judgment.
Yeah, the judgment, the grudgeman, and the fudgeman.
Always pooing. What are we talking about?
I don't know. Been in competition with each other.
Yeah, being in competition with other people. Yeah, it is a hard thing to master. I do really feel it though. I'm definitely better at it.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
I feel
because
Well
no.
Good for you. You feel good about other people.
Already, isn't this interesting, right? This what just happened there, right? That reaction.
It was a joke.
I know it was, but isn't it funny that you could be? I don't know. I'm going with that. Let's cut that out too. Just cut the whole pass. In fact, cut the whole thing since we've been recording.
Why?
No, really. Britney Spears' belly.
Right, yeah. What were we even talking about, Britney Spears?
I don't know. So we were talking about her miming.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what's crazy about her performance and her lip syncing and all of that is that from the documentary that I watched about her, she was a prolific performer in Vegas, in that she was like a workhorse. She obviously had no money, no control over her life, but she was doing sold out Vegas shows every night, months on end, and would really put everything into it. She's like an amazing entertainer, but voice just didn't quite match, did it? Like I said last week, if you can't do it all, should you be worthy?
Yeah, well, she's a package, isn't fame and I don't know what I've done. I just played something by accident. Fame and fame.
Yeah.
Comes in many packages, doesn't it? So she started in with Disney Kids, but wasn't she? She was like a kid star, so she was probably quite good for her age of singing cute and acting cute and dancing. and she was pretty. And then, you know, the big fat music labels and the big fat greedy pigs saw this young, very attractive teenage girl and thought, we can make a lot of money by sexualizing her, right? And they go, yeah, but she can't sing. And they go, don't worry about it. With that belly, she'll make us plenty.
Yeah, look at that little belly. Oh, so lovely.
Yeah.
She's got a little, yeah.
So she is worthy because she got put through that stuff, right?
Yeah.
You know, and also I think Britney Spears is like the perfect, a very good example to all the young boys and girls out there as to why fame isn't actually the thing you should be striving for in life.
No.
Because I look at Britney Spears now and I can't speak for her. Even though
Try.
I've said to her, I'm going to speak for you, and she keeps telling me not to.
Yeah.
But I can't speak for her. But I look at her Instagrams and I look at her life and the things she's been through. She's clearly very fragile and mentally probably not in a very strong place. She might be getting better, and I really hope she does. But she has those milky eyes of sadness. When I see her posing naked on Instagram or lying on a beach naked, again, she's naked most of the time.
Yeah.
I see her eyes and I see sadness, and I come so hard.
You just love women being fragile and
The pain in her eyes.
Here's an harder than a rock. You're hard now.
I have
for
to get a
listeners,
pillow to cover it. No, I just want to say that was a joke, but and I want to be sincere about it. Is that I see sadness in her eyes, and it really reminds me, like, oh yeah, like actually being famous and having, even though maybe having a lot of money now and seemingly everything you want isn't actually good.
Yeah.
Or it isn't the meaning to life.
No, it's really not.
Yeah.
And pursuit of your art and your craft is what should be
Getting joy
out of that thing,
yeah,
rather than the seeking the attention of others. You should be happy with your own thing. Yeah,
It's
100%.
interesting because I was listening to Kendrick Lamar's new album,
Yeah.
which is phenomenal,
Yeah.
as everyone knows. So I don't really need to say much more about that,
Okay.
other than if you haven't listened to it, listen to it.
Yeah.
And he talks about loads of personal stuff in there, and he talks about he cheated on his wife a lot. He's a sex addict. He's a porn addict. He's a gambling addict as well, I think. He battles with like all of these addictions and issues and things that he had to take time away to recover from and to go to rehab from and thing. And you think like, what? Like, yeah, you're absolutely right about the pursuit of artistic excellence, which I think he is the epitome of. When you look at him, he's someone that is trying to achieve the absolute highest performance, peak performance that he is capable of in his art. But he didn't release an album for like 5 years because he went to rehab to sort these things out. But it shows you how success in the measure of money, fame, power can corrupt that journey for you and stops you creating the art that you actually originally intended to do.
And isn't it ironic that people who are their most authentic selves in their art, so artists like Kendrick Lamar, I would say Beyonce, in her like writing, when they're really honest about who they are, that's when the brilliance really hits in.
Yeah.
That's what makes art so brilliant, is that it's like it's just a lived experience personified in this form so perfectly
And shared for others to learn from those experiences.
It's really great.
Yeah.
Well,
So that was a nice spin to it,
keep
wasn't
it up, Brittany.
Don't pursue the fame and the money. Pursue the arts.
Yes. Yeah.
Arts.
If you what do you think your thing is to pursue in life? Do you think we're all here to kind of have a thing?
It's a good question.
Do you think we're all put on, do you think we all exist in this earth to be something, or to connect, not necessarily be be adored by other people, but to have something that you feel connects you to
Do we have a
something
porpoise,
greater?
is what you're asking us.
Do we have porpoise?
Do we have a porpoise?
Yeah. Yeah.
I think everyone does have a purpose. it's funny, isn't it? Because depending on like how spiritual you are, some would argue that everyone has a purpose and everyone has meaning. And others would argue that nothing has purpose or meaning. So it's an interesting one, isn't it? But
Isn't that funny though, that people who don't have any spirituality in their lives may also find that they have something they really connect with, a hobby, their job, whatever it is, and they feel alive when they do that thing, or they feel really connected. That in its essence, that connection, I feel, is spirituality.
yeah.
Obviously, atheists would disagree, but
Yeah. Well, I don't know if they would, but yeah, definitely. I don't know what my poor place is. I don't know.
maybe that's
But I feel like I'm honing in on it though. I feel like I'm getting closer, and maybe that's the purpose. Maybe that's the journey. The journey is discovering that, isn't it?
How old are you now? 28.
28.
Yeah. Well, that makes sense.
Does it?
Yep.
Explain.
I learnt recently about Saturn returning.
Oh, here we go. Okay, everyone take 5. Osbridge talks. Saturn.
So for all the people who, well, I'm not saying I believe in this either.
No.
But I do think it's quite an interesting concept that, so say your charts, so where the planets and the stars were aligned the moment you were born into the world, what that looked like in the universe, like our solar system.
Yeah.
It takes something like 29 years for it to go back to that point.
Is that right?
Yeah.
It's able to go back to that point.
Yeah, or something, or the distance from the moon.
For like
or
just the
something.
planets to align or
Right.
something. Right, okay, yeah.
And Saturn return. So there's this thing that
Sounds like a really shit Gerard Butler film, doesn't it?
Saturn returning.
Yeah.
Just him going to Saturn and then coming back.
Yeah. Yeah. And every time he gets back, they go, Jared, we told you to fuck off, mate. Go to Saturn and do not return. But I'm returning back.
Is he Irish?
I have no idea.
No, he's not. He's American, but
He's
he's
Scottish,
kind of
isn't he?
Oh, he's Scottish. Yeah, he's Scottish. Yeah. Yeah, he's Scottish. But why did they cast him as the Irish person in P.S. I Love You?
Oh, so confusing,
So,
Bridge.
because he wasn't really Irish.
No, he's not. He wasn't really an actor.
So I didn't realise you had such hatred towards Gerard Butler.
Yeah, if there's that's my purpose. If there's one thing in this world, it's to ruin Gerard Butler.
Maybe your purpose is to be grudgeful forever.
Yeah,
and you know
absolutely.
what? Sink back into that.
My
grudgeful.
purpose is the Grudgeman.
Yeah.
Go on, talk to me about my planets.
So the idea is Saturn returning happens twice in your lifetime. And it's supposed to represent a time of real, when you have like a crisis, an identity crisis, pivotal change, things really start to kind of solidify of who you are, or maybe they don't, maybe there's a huge disconnect. And they liken that to those times when you, between 27 and 32. And then later on in your life in like, you know.
So what happens between 27 and 22?
It's supposed to be a very pivotal
Right.
time of change and moving towards things that connect you connect with.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So there you go.
Cool.
Yeah. So it makes sense that we're in our late 20s. We're finding more things out about ourselves.
Right. So I have Saturn to thank, do I?
I knew you'd say that. Yes.
No, it's very interesting. Please.
No, you don't have anyone to
Talk.
thank. It's just what's happening to you.
That's just how it works.
It's just how it's working. Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Unbeknownst to you. But you know, if you really listen to it all, you know,
Yeah.
you might learn something
Well,
about yourself.
yeah. Fair enough.
I also learned that Scorpio and Sagittarius are very compatible.
Oh, thank God for that. That means we can stay
Yeah,
married.
which is fine because, you know, we can stay together now.
Good. Good, because all that Saturn talk, I was thinking I was going to have to divorce you. But now you told me that we're compatible.
Now you like it again.
Whew. Yeah, I just liked, I just always think that it's funny how horoscopes always tell people what they like to hear, isn't it?
Yeah, you could read.
No, I've been really mean. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I think
no.
you take lots of joy out of this, and I take joy out of you taking joy.
I'm just not ruling anything out.
Yeah, you're being smart.
I don't believe in anything, but I don't disbelieve in anything either. That's my philosophy.
I watched, right, this is great. I'm so pleased you said that.
Okay.
I love you very much. listeners, not you. I watched a special today, a comedy special.
Oh, great.
By Norm McDonald.
I love Norm.
But this special came out today, and he'd obviously passed away last year, didn't he? Or the year before. And the night before he went into surgery because he had cancer, he'd written an hour special that he was going to tour. It was during COVID, and he couldn't do it
because of his operation.
No, because of COVID. Because he was like, one, I don't know what's going to happen in this operation, and two, I might not make it past COVID, so I might not get to tour. So he filmed the special in his office on his computer, and the special is him in front of his computer just performing.
What's it
to
like?
No audience. It's really great. It's really heartbreaking.
What a beautiful time capsule.
It was unbelievable.
Of a person in his craft, also in a pandemic, going through his illness. Great. I love it. I want to watch it.
It was very emotional to watch because you could sense that he knew he was doing this piece of work for the last time. Wow. And the last time he'll ever do a special, it's going to be, not how he would originally thought. And he talks about death on it, and he even never told him he was ill. But like when you watch it now, it kind of has a lot more weight to it, and it was great. It was interesting because like I promised myself I'd never watch a piece of like lockdown content ever again because you just got sick of seeing people on like Zoom sort of format. But this is different. It's like he's kind of done a eulogy for himself a little bit, and it's really silly, and it's really. He seems nervous and he seems a bit sad, but he seems really happy and content. It's just a really powerful piece of content. And then at the end, Dave Letterman, Dave Chappelle, Adam Sandler, and a couple of other comedians talk about it. I'll do like a bit of a round table and talk about it.
Oh, brilliant.
So it's worth a watch. Definitely watch it. But he had a really funny joke on it that I'm going to absolutely butcher it. And
no.
But it was really funny because the point.
Give it a go. Go on, give it a go.
Good. But he said something like, when I was growing up, everyone had, he's like, nowadays, everyone has one opinion. They have one opinion on this or that, And he's like, when I was growing up, people had loads of opinions. They'd have like, 6 opinions, whatever. He said, I met a man who had 8 opinions. And I met him and I went, boy, he's opinionated. I thought that's such a stupid joke. It's so funny.
Opinionated.
Yeah, he says like, oh boy, he's opinionated.
Oh my God, the language is so fantastic.
So good. But then also it was
I'm sorry, just to pick apart his joke a little bit. So it's like he saw the word opinionated and was like, that's someone with 8 opinions. Yeah. Like, how does someone see words like that and just kind of flip them around?
Or he was like...
So good.
Yeah, working with this here, like opinions, opinionated, like what can I do with that? People have one opinion. But it's also true of like, people are so black and white nowadays. Yeah. Like people... It was interesting. I was listening to another podcast today as well. I think it was Bad Friends, and they were talking about how... even back in like 2007 or whatever, you could have loads of different opinions on different things. And like, yes, you could hate the Conservatives, but you could be like pro-choice and like, you could be, you could hate Labour, but you could be pro-choice. Like, or you could be liberal, but you could have right-wing thing, or you could have lots of opinions on lots of different things. Right. But now it seems as it gets narrower and narrower, and that you have to have if you have an opinion, if you side with one thing, it has to be everything else. Yeah. And
it can't just stand alone. Yeah. It has to represent, and it has to represent exactly who you are. And it doesn't work like that, does it? No. Well, we know what that is, though, don't we? It's all these echo chambers that we're living in. Amen. It's all the stuff that we're seeing online. It's just been, it's all designed. The way that we're all now conditioned to think either
good,
this side
bad,
or that side.
Left, right.
It's all been designed. Yeah. It's all been filtered through to us. We're all just rats in this experiment. Yeah. Like we really like, yeah. I have to isn't it funny? Like I have to really think about what I actually think is my opinion. Yeah. And what I think is the opinion that I think I've read.
Or the opinion that you think people
People
will
want me to have.
want you to have, or
Right.
will like you
Yeah.
because of it. And that's it's like the whole cancel culture, isn't it? It's like it makes it scary to have an opinion that you don't think people will like.
Yeah.
Because people are so quick to completely write someone off if
Yeah.
they disagree with one thing.
Yeah.
Like, I'm bad at it as well. Like, if I meet someone and they disagree with me, or they're, they disagree with something that a belief that I wouldn't necessarily believe in or whatever, then I'm kind of like, oh, they must just be a bad person.
Right.
Because that's like how we're taught to
Right.
be.
Right. Yeah.
But like, that's another thing that I'm trying to get better at too, is to be like, people are nuanced.
People are really
Life is
complex.
so fucking nuanced.
So complex.
Yeah.
So complicated. We're just like, yeah, I mean, all the intricacies that make you, all these, and this is a huge collection of moment by moment lived experience from birth to whatever age you meet a person. And we're so quick to just completely put them in a box. Just put that person in a whole box. But
Yeah.
actually, like, what they're made up of, all these opinions, all the things that they lived through.
Yeah.
It's wild. One person is like insanely interesting,
Yeah.
aren't they?
Oh yeah.
I
Oh,
could-
they have so many,
so much
to tell you, so many stories, so
Yeah.
many, so many opinions
Yeah.
and thoughts
Yeah.
and relationships.
Yeah.
Like, I think people forget.
the backstory to everything, because that's not the way we read it, though.
No.
That's not the way we're intaking the world at the minute. Everything is just surface level,
Two-dimensional.
so two-dimensional. This person said this. This person said this about, like, oh, like,
It's like I thought about this sort of stuff a lot recently as well. Of just like, when you reflect on your own family, and then you never. It sounds stupid, but you never remember. Everyone has a family.
yeah.
Everyone's got a granddad.
I know.
Or a brother, or not a brother because they don't have an only child or whatever. But like, everyone's got
Something.
many relationships
Yeah.
in which they will be different people
Yeah.
to.
Yeah.
Like, Trump had a grandma.
I know.
Isn't that weird?
And Trump was like a toddler.
Trump had a horrible father.
Right.
And like, hey, fucking hell. No defending anyone here. But
No.
like, when you think about that,
you can understand it a little bit more.
why he can be evil himself. Like,
Right.
it's people are
Well, you can feel
complicated.
empathy
feel
for
empathy,
somebody
yeah.
who clearly.
I don't know why I said Trump, because I hate Trump.
Well,
but
no, me too. Well,
I guess
like,
he's a good figure to say. Hitler had parents.
right, and Hitler was like a toddler
Yeah.
and like an innocent child who was then molded into. Yeah, Hitler was a baby. Hitler was a baby. He was what he was at one point. That old baby that we all go, oh look, oh he's so beautiful.
Yeah.
What? And then grew up to that.
His baby shower was rough.
Yeah, just loads of white and red flags everywhere. It was really weird. Yeah.
Dear.
But mad though that life is like that.
I don't know where I was going with that. Anyway, the Norm Macdonald thing was great. Then I went on a bit of a Norm Macdonald hole.
I was talking. It's because I said I don't believe in anything, but I believe in it. I also want to believe in everything.
Yeah.
I kind of walk that line all the time.
And I think that is the absolute best way to live.
Yeah.
Honestly, and I think that reminded me of the special, not just because of the multiple opinion thing,
Yeah.
but like that was the sense I got from what he was saying in that whole hour. Was like, you just got the sense that he was a man that loved everything. That wanted to talk to everyone.
Yeah.
And wanted to experience everything. And
Yeah.
that's what all the other comedians at the end were saying, was that like he'd always have so many stories about everyone and anyone and nothing and everything. And like, that must be the best way to live life, is to just have belief and faith in everything.
Right.
And see what kicks you in the dick and what doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See what sticks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Life's great.
Yeah, life
We're
is
very
good.
lucky.
Yeah, we are.
Very lucky.
Yeah.
Isn't it crazy how life works out though as well? Like we've been saying for years, like, oh, it'd be great to do a podcast. And here we are, like with microphones and speaking to
Hundreds of people.
twos of people. Like
Multiples of 10.
yeah, like but that doesn't really matter. It's just amazing what you. I do believe in visualization. If you visualize things, and I do feel like things start to happen once you really believe in them. I do think that's the thing.
But hey, who knows? Like, you know, like we were saying about the whole success thing. You know, what to us are we measuring this podcast by success?
I mean,
it could be producing great bloody episodes week in, week out, smash them
Forever.
out the park forever and ever.
This is the thing. I feel like success for me is doing it.
Yeah.
Like doing it every week.
Yeah.
I don't really. It is quite easy, I think, for everybody who has a podcast, which is, you know, every other person in the world. It's quite easy to want to, you know, be on par with all the ones that you love and,
Oh yeah.
you know, and make yours stand out. But in essence, you know, it's the joy of doing it. It's the beauty of it's the art form I love the most. It's the most authentic. It's the most honest. It's people sitting down and having real conversations in real time. You know,
Unedited, really.
unedited. You
Yeah.
know, a lot of what we talk about is just, you know, it's quite off the cuff and.
I'd say it's 95% off the cuff.
And it might all be utter garbage, but
I'd say
it's our garbage.
95% garbage.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's our garbage.
It's our garbage.
Yeah.
And that's good. And we should just be happy with that.
Definitely.
And that's what you can liken that to how you live your life. It shouldn't be the fact that you're here and living your own life is extraordinary. It's just because it is.
Absolutely.
And there you go.
Right, we've had enough life-affirming shit. Should we actually talk garbage now?
Yeah, let's chat some more to crap. So, can we talk about the show that we watched the other night?
Oh my goodness. Yeah, Jesus
so
Christ.
We've been like recommending a couple of things now that people need to go away and watch, but we are going to talk about this. So, spoiler alert if you haven't seen it.
Yes. Spoiler alert.
Spoilers.
This is the time to skip. This will be the first video in which we have chapters on YouTube. I know it doesn't help if you listen on Spotify and iTunes and all those other great services, but if you're on YouTube, you can skip past this
which
section.
You can write and review us on if you're using them. That would be
Right
encouraged.
Right review. You can also watch on Spotify, by the way.
Yeah.
Yes. Spoiler alert, spoiler warning. We'll put the links to all the shows in the description too.
Our Father, Netflix. Absolutely berserk.
Oh my God, what an insane show.
I love you, and I'm so glad you said this. You said,
Yeah.
Bridge, find us a good documentary tonight.
Mm-hmm.
And I love it when you say that because you're not on that documentary train like I am.
I
I
love
could spend all day, all
Yeah.
night watching shit documentaries about wacky stuff.
I do love docs, but I have to be in a mood for
yeah,
them.
yeah, I get it.
Whereas you are you're a doc whore.
Yeah, I'm a doc.
You can take a solid doc every night of the week. You can take a doc in the everywhere. You
the
could
back
have
door, front door, front dock, back dock.
God, if you're not sucking a doc, I don't know what you're doing.
I love a big doc.
Yeah.
And I up to 5 a day at least. I could handle.
Oh yeah, a gangbang of docs.
Yeah. A brothel.
Yeah.
A dockle.
A boodocky.
Yes.
A boodocky.
It took me a second, but I got it. So, Our Father is about a doctor who was working, I want to say in the 60s.
No,
70s?
bloody hell. No, Bridge. It was like the 80s, 90s.
Oh my God.
It was recent. It was not long ago. He was only like 50 or something, wasn't he?
Yeah.
He was he specialised in fertility. He was a fertility doctor, wasn't he?
He was, yeah. And he was like known in the field as being kind of
cutting edge.
Incredible results for all couples that went to him with their fertility issues. Maybe Kourtney Kardashian, from what we were speaking about last week, maybe she's missing a bit of a trick.
She needs to go and see, what is his name? Dr. Tate? Or
Donald
something?
Klein.
Donald Klein. Well remembered.
Dr. Donald Klein was his name.
Kourtney, if you're listening, Dr. Donald Klein will guarantee to get you preggers.
What's also mad is that he is also it'll be crazy once we tell you what he did, but he is still alive in the world right now.
Out of jail.
Not in jail and still,
He's retired.
He's retired, but just still existing and in a community of people that adore him. It's wild. So he was a fertility doctor who was using his own sperm to impregnate hundreds of women.
Against their consent. They didn't know.
They didn't know.
That he was giving them their sperm.
No.
So what would happen is that they go to the sperm bank, and at the time, they didn't have like freezers and like
No, it didn't sound like a
places where
very...
they could store loads of sperm donors. Because now what you do is I could go and I could give them my sperm, and they could freeze it for however long, and then someone else would pick my profile and go, "Well, I'll have this one," and then they get them. But at the time,
That little one with a little blonde quip.
yeah, little blonde spermy quiff. But at the time, they only had like it had to be pretty much instant. They only had like an hour or something until the sperm would go rotten.
Go blue. It goes blue, right? It goes blue and black and all and mouldy.
Yeah. And so what would happen was that they get a sample off someone, like an actual person that this woman has picked. A lot of the times it was their husbands, because the problem wasn't actually that they were both infertile. It was just that natural sex just wouldn't allow them to conceive. Like she'd have a really tight cervix, or
Is that right?
I think so. That was what they said, wasn't it?
Oh,
so
okay.
So like the instrument that he used, it would go into the cervix bit, wouldn't
right,
it?
and
Or,
that's
like,
why
back of the
they could
cervix.
still use their husband's
Exactly.
sperm.
Yeah.
We talk a lot about cum.
Oh yeah. Do you know what? I actually thought about this when I was doing a bit of social media. What's the word?
Research?
No, just
Scrolling?
No, on our channels, I was just tidying them up a little bit.
Right.
Bit of work. Bit of social media work.
Okay.
I thought, God, we talk about come along.
I know, like borderline too much. Maybe
Yeah.
we should call I come be your grandma, or I could be your I don't know. It should just be the cum podcast.
No, well, there's Cum Town, isn't there? They've got the cum niche.
Oh, they've nailed it. That's a great name. And it's also, we don't talk about it. It always comes up. Pardon the pun. It does.
Pardon
it does.
the cum.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that should be our podcast. It should be called Pardon the Cum.
Yes. I know. Well, there we go.
There we go.
Oh.
Right, yeah. So anyway, husbands would deliver their load, and what would happen is that he would swap them. He'd go to his office and he'd jack off in a little pot and swap them, and then put his sperm into a woman.
Yeah.
And basically, like, we won't ruin all the pod, but one woman one day puts all the episode doc. One woman puts her DNA into 23andMe.
So she knew that she wasn't biologically
Yeah.
linked to her father.
And she was just scrolling just to be like, oh, I wonder what he's like.
Wonder if
I can
have...
find anything out.
She was also wanting
And
to know
health
about
stuff.
like health stuff. Yeah.
And then she ended up having like 14 siblings on there.
Yeah.
Half siblings. And so she got in touch with them all, and they all realised that they're from the same dad, unknowing to all of them
at the time.
None of them knew.
Well, the mum, wasn't her mum, said that's impossible because the clinic told me that they wouldn't use the same donor more than 3 times.
Well, this is still a rule today, is you can't use, if you donate sperm, it can't be used. They can transport it around the country and stuff. In America, this is. I don't know what about in UK, but...
Put them on the bus.
Yeah, on the megabus. You can't use sperm more than, I think, 2 or 3 times in the same state.
Right.
Because the chances of inbreeding
Are so
is
high.
so high.
Because of the lineage, yeah.
Yeah, like you can't.
Yeah, no, it's very dangerous to have that many people related to each other in a small area.
And then, like, so the doc goes on, and there's lots of crazy, wild things that happen. But it basically, I think I had a quick look today. I think there's over 100 children that have been made from his sperm that were all in the same town, essentially.
Oh my God. It's so bad. It's so gross. It was wild. It's a really wild story.
I just thought he must have been beating off in his office.
I know, constantly. And so can I talk about why the theory behind why he was doing it?
Yeah, of course.
So he was a very, very religious man, and they kind of linked him to a couple of religious cults called like quick fillers, or I can't remember the name of this particular branch of Christianity, but it was basically a lot of rhetoric about building the perfect race, like Aryan children.
All the children, because he had blonde hair, blue eyes, and all the children
All of them.
were platinum blonde and blue eyes, weren't
Yeah,
they?
very
It was
fair-skinned,
insane. Yeah.
blue eyes, Aryan looking.
Yeah.
And one of the girls was like, it's so creepy to think actually when you see us all on
yeah.
all of our pictures all next to each other, that we are all these kind of like pasty, like white, blue-eyed, Nazis.
What was the
well,
name?
they're not obviously,
what
but
was
that's
the name of
what-
the of the movement? Drum in the Dark. What was it called?
what what he was part of.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to just
I
remember.
can't remember the name of it.
It was like Quick Filler or
Oh yeah, Quick Fix or something like that. Oh yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, but pretty wacky. And he was a really religious guy who kept quoting that there was
Bible.
like he kept quoting the Bible because he met
Jeremiah
up with
3:1, I think it was.
well remembered, and it was I knew you.
Before you were in your mother's womb or something.
Yeah, I knew you before you were in your mother's womb or something, or before you. Oh yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
It was just very odd.
And he carried a gun with him all the time. It was just very threatening, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Just a weird dude.
But what's crazy is that what he did wasn't illegal. It is and should be, but wasn't written anywhere. It was so weird. Like there was never a case of malpractice to that extent by a doctor before in that specific area, and and so.
Yeah, I can't believe it's not illegal to put your sperm in someone. I think it was like the loophole was that they had consented to the treatment.
Yeah.
And that
right, yeah.
Like he had done what they had asked for.
Right.
But they just didn't
know that it was his.
Yeah, ask for his sperm.
Oh my, it's just so sick. It's so sick.
Oh God, it is gross. It's a great documentary.
And he's like a serving member of his community. He had people come forth who are like, he's a really great man. You know, this is all lies and slander.
Well, they were all church people. I think he was part of like quite a small sect of Christianity that wasn't very good.
Who are still to this day behind him, supporting him. And he has ruined the lives of so many. He's ruined the lives of not only the children who have come to know this, the fathers who thought that they had thought that they had children and they biologically don't. I mean, it doesn't really matter, you know, emotionally they obviously were, but to realize that you weren't linked to your child, and then the mothers who were, and it was all the procedures were done by him, so it was invasive. There was that woman who said when it all kind of came out for her and her daughter when they found out what had happened, or son, I don't remember who it was. She said, "Oh my God, I was raped 15 times and I didn't even realize it." I was like, "Oh man, that's heavy."
Because sperm's gross, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then the idea of someone,
it's awful.
someone's sperm
absolutely, just
that you
it
didn't
makes
ask for, just put inside you.
It makes you shiver. It's awful. But what's really weird about this is that these half siblings, everybody involved, must be really conflicted because they're like, on the one hand,
I'm alive.
I love my baby and love my daughter or my son more than anything in the whole world, than my life. Your children are you like, you know.
I'd kick them out. I'd get rid of them.
Ew,
If I was
you're
the
not
dads,
mine,
I'd be like, I've paid for you for 30 years and you're not even mine.
been dragging you
Get
along.
out.
I know.
Get out. You don't even
Yeah.
look like me. Well, in my case, they look exactly like me, wouldn't they? We'd never question it. Blonde hair, blue eyes. They'd be like, oh yeah, it's
Right.
definitely your baby.
Right, yeah.
The black dad was a weird one. I can't believe he didn't spot it.
Yeah, well, hang on a minute. Something's not right.
Are you sure they used my sample?
yeah. Just one of the pale ones. Yeah.
No, there wasn't any.
Well, this is the other thing is there was he didn't target any other ethnicities because he
I don't
wanted.
think they were there in the town. To be fair, it looked like quite
Yeah,
a
pretty
small white
white.
American town,
Yeah.
didn't it?
But yeah, they were all the same, and I don't think that's a coincidence either. But what must be really conflicting for these people is they're like, oh, I love my child, and they're still my child, but now I know that they're not. Like, how do you live with that? How do you
Yeah.
kind of balance that? Because you're angry at the situation and you'd be like, I wish it never happened. But at the same time, well, it did happen. And like, this person's in my life because it did.
I was
So you
thinking in the
kinda-
documentary, like because there was like 100 or so, or 95 at the time, siblings that had been conceived by him. You only hear from maybe 10 of them or whatever, don't you?
Yeah.
I wondered if there was ever. I wonder if there was some of them were like, oh, I don't give a fuck, fine, whatever. And I wonder if some of them were like, oh my God, I really want to be a part of his life.
Yeah.
I really want to know my dad. I want to be his friend. I
Yeah,
want to look
maybe.
after him. Weird.
Yeah. You know what?
There must have been.
I reckon they might not have talked about it in the documentary.
Yeah, that's
because
what I mean.
It's slander against, because, you know,
They've got
the
a narrative.
documentary's on the side of their narrative. But yeah, there might have been people that were like, I've reconnected with my father and he's an amazing man.
But
You
his,
know, and then they open that can of
yeah.
worms.
But his wife didn't know, did she?
She didn't know.
No.
No.
He kept calling up the daughter who was like trying to tell the story to the press. He was like, my marriage will be over if you tell him that.
Yeah, the
He was
world
like,
doesn't
"My
need to know
marriage will be-
this.
my
Like, the
marriage will be
world doesn't need
over."
to know.
Yeah. Imagine, what would you do if you found out I had 90 children?
90 children, I
Yeah.
know. I'd be sick. I'd be sick all over the floor.
You'd be like, where are we going to put them? we can't have them around for Christmas. It's just too many.
I've really got a spare room. We've got all the podcast equipment up.
We can't afford it.
Yeah, I'd be like, the thing that gets me is it's a bit, I really do feel for all of these siblings because it's icky.
Oh, it's an icky,
It's
sticky
very
situation.
icky. Being
yeah.
related to that many people as a half sibling
Yeah.
is icky.
Yeah.
It's icky.
Yeah, because essentially the chances are, right, but this was the thing, this is a mad thing, because some of the kids had kids, and like,
Who probably now have kids. Like, you know.
well, no, I think they're all I think because it was 20 years ago or 30 years ago, they've got kids. They'll
right.
be like teenagers now. But like, imagine if they didn't find this out and all of them lived in pretty much the same town,
Yeah.
same state. Like the chances are, so that's 100 people, right? If they all have a kid, that's 100 kids, right?
200, 300 kids.
Yeah, the chances are that they might end up hooking up with their cousin,
I know.
first cousin, without them even knowing.
I know.
You know.
Would they be cousins?
Yeah,
Oh, I always
yeah.
get
But
confused
then
about
also
this.
the chances are is that like they could have ended up having sex with their sibling
Right.
so easily,
Right, yeah.
so easily.
I know.
that they could have like not known,
It's dangerous.
hooked up, and then you've got yourself an inbred person, inbred child.
But not just the fact that children could have been born from that, but also like, can you imagine the emotional
Oh my god! Imagine if you did find out.
how messed up that would make you that you had.
Maybe
that
that
you
was
had-
some of the siblings that didn't contribute to the documentary. They were like, absolutely not.
I can't talk about this.
No,
Yeah.
I had sex with my brother and it was awful.
But it's really, really, really strange. You'd be walking around like going like, am I related to them? Am I related to them? Because they all do look oddly alike as
They
well.
look
It's
so alike.
Very strange.
Yeah, so alike.
But what's even worse about this thing, I mean, the whole thing's horrific, but one thing that is just so is that if he was a donor, if he was, not a doctor and he was donating, he wouldn't have passed the certificate
the
of
health
being
criteria.
the health criteria that allows you to be a donor because he
Mm.
had so many health issues. So the fact that all of these siblings, all these offspring, are now, experiencing, a lot of them have autoimmune diseases and like a lot of like bowel issues and, but they're like, a lot of them have had like underlying health conditions that have made them really sick and they just haven't figured out why. It's because you had a really,
You had a fat, gross dad.
yeah.
He was a proper fat, gross man as well. Not that that makes any difference, but if he was hot, it wouldn't have made a difference. But like the fact
It's
that it was
just
just more of
so
it was
mad.
even more of a kick in the teeth that it was just an unhealthy, horrible guy.
In his
Bald
head,
too.
in his head, he must have just thought, like, was he doing good? Do you think?
Well, that's what he said.
Do you think he just didn't think about it?
Well, this was the kicker for me in the documentary, right? Because his argument was like, I was helping people that couldn't get pregnant. And I was like, yeah, okay, maybe. I'm not buying it, but yeah, all right. If you gave him the benefit of the doubt, I'd be like, yeah, maybe it wasn't a weird sexual thing.
Yeah.
He was doing it because he was trying to help, and he's just a bit fucked up, and he made a mistake 100 times. But it was when there was a woman being interviewed that used to work for him.
Yeah.
That at the very end of the documentary, she says that she treated him and he used her sperm on her without her knowing.
That's sick. Yeah.
So I was like, okay, yeah, so that's sadistic because it's someone he's worked with. And then there's another woman being interviewed who is this woman's daughter, and he was her gynecologist.
Yes.
So,
when she was going through her pregnancy.
Yeah, and
so
he
didn't,
knew her. He knew her, and he knew that she was his daughter.
Yeah.
And he did exams on her.
Yeah.
And like, that's when I was like, oh yeah, no, it's a sexual thing. It's fucked up.
It's
he is
messed
a
up.
fucked
Yeah,
up
he's
sexual.
so
like he
messed
has got
up.
some very, very strange sexual issues, and he should be put in jail.
power trip, and playing God. Playing God.
I think that's what he probably thought he was doing. I think that's why he liked it, because he was a religious man.
Oh God.
Never play God.
No. Don't do it.
Whether it's fun to jerk off
Yeah.
in a cup and put it inside someone or not.
I know.
Don't play God.
Just don't do it.
Guys, just stop putting sperm in women that don't want
I
it.
know, we don't want it. We don't
No.
want it. Leave us alone to be the magnificent female goddesses that we are, and leave us alone.
If they want the sperm, they'll ask for it.
Oh, they'll
beg.
they'll beg.
Oh my God, I want it. Sperm. Yes.
But highly recommend watching the documentary. It's
I mean, you don't
so
need to
good.
now. But definitely watch it anyway.
This is why I love documentaries, though, Alf, because I love messed up stories.
Yeah, you love a screwed up person, don't you? You love a weirdo. You love a screwed up weirdo.
I just like that we could all be in a situation one day that's just very bizarre and very upsetting and very crazy, and it could happen to any of us.
Mm-hmm.
And it brings me back down to earth, actually, when I think about all things spirituality wise, whatever, and then you hear about the murderer or the guy that that does. It's always men as well. What is wrong?
No.
Majority, large
Yes.
majority, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So what's that about? What is it about? Tell
Men
me
are
why.
evil. We know this. We've been through
But
this
why?
100 times.
Why? Do you think it's
Power.
Do you think it's neglect?
It's years of it's years of the patriarchy in nature.
Yeah.
Like, we're stronger. So we already, in nature, if you take away society, in nature, strongest wins, survival of the fittest. Men are stronger, usually, than women. And they take advantage of each other and of other women as well. So
Yeah.
it's just power, and it's power, and it's power.
Yeah.
And strength and power.
Do you think men get intimidated by women? On like
Pussies
a
do, yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's what I'm
Yeah,
meaning.
pussy men do, yeah.
Yeah. Like on a like, because they can't quite understand it. They can't understand.
Yeah, they've got
us.
too many feelings getting in the way of them being men. That's what
Yeah.
I mean. Those wimpy men, yeah, they get intimidated by women because they just don't know how to. They're feeling everything. Proper men don't.
Yeah. yeah.
Yeah. You know what I mean.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think. I think men definitely get intimidated by women because I think they threaten their manhood, don't they?
Right.
They threaten that balance of power or balance of or control in the room or whatever the situation is.
Yeah.
So there's that, you get intimidated because they see it as a threat. That's the problem with men, is that they see everything as a threat.
Do you
Nothing
think,
is nothing like for it. Nothing is just like a woman could be helping a man, but he'd see it as a threat.
It's competition.
Yeah,
always.
everything is everything's a drum and everything's a competition.
Yeah. I wonder, I mean, there's psychologists that have spent a lifetime researching into this.
Yeah, they wasted the money.
Because we're unpicking it
We've got
now.
it now.
Experts in the field.
Mm-hmm.
But I wonder how much, the difference between how we raise boys and girls, like how the relationships with parents and mothers has an effect on.
Oh,
that.
yeah, massively.
Because like if young girls are kind of, maybe more protected or not protected. I don't know.
I'd say so.
I don't know.
Sheltered maybe. Or treated, definitely treated differently.
Yeah.
Boys and girls are treated differently when they get brought up. By,
Yeah.
I can't say by every parent, by a lot of people.
And isn't that interesting that like what happens with when young boys are neglected or whatever it was that happens, that turns that anger turns into then just inflicting it. I'm just saying the obvious now. I'm just like, Bridget says the obvious.
Not always the case, though, is it? Not always the case.
I'm saying in these serial killers.
Yeah.
The vast majority of
though?
serial killers
I find with serial killers, the ones that I've known, had the pleasure of knowing, is that, they 9 times out of 10, they might have a mother issue. But I also I find with serial killers, it's father issues too.
That they were abused or
they were abused by a man.
Right. And they need to regain that power back.
Usually, and again, I'm no expert.
What you find happens is
in my experience, usually what will happen is that a man or a young boy will get abused by his father. Bullied, psychologically, physically, whatever. He will get abused by his father. And then his mother, he'll be very close to. And he will then seek female attention once his mother's out of his life or something, because he doesn't trust other men and he's afraid, and he needs that young boy comes out of him like wanting to suckle at mum's teat sort of thing, like to be protected by a mother. But because he doesn't have the emotional development because of through his own abuse and trauma, he then sexualizes women and confuses affection for sexual violence and murder. You know what I mean? Like, it'll be like...
So the negative male psyche impacts males who then kill women. That's what that is then.
You're welcome.
Right. Yeah. It's tough, isn't it?
It's a tough world out there for a woman.
Oh, yeah. God, the abuse against women, man, it's just never ending, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just not good.
And on that cheery note, we should probably wrap up.
Should we call it quits?
Yeah, I'm starving.
I know.
Thanks for listening, everyone.
I hope everybody has had a wonderful long weekend, whether you've been off work, been partying, having barbecues with the family, having a street party, whatever you're up to. I hope it was great.
Good to see Lizzie made it through.
Yeah. And as a thank you to us, if you're still listening and you're listening every week, please, if you could, give us a review on iTunes or Spotify. That would be mega helpful. Follow us on our social pages. We're kind of putting up some new kind of content and stuff at the minute. And
subscribe.
Subscribe.
Tell your friends.
Yeah, tell a mate who likes to listen to shit, because we're full of it.
Yeah.
And we will see you here next week.
Ciao, ciao.
Never said that before.
I'm trying it new.
Oh, I like it. Yeah. Ciao, ciao.
Well, you've ruined it now. Ciao, ciao.